I am in the middle of declaring bankruptcy, and I started a business anyway. Everyone told me that that was insane, but the truth is, everyone is wrong because the math on risk has totally changed. Playing it safe isn't safe anymore, and no one's really talking about what that means. By the end of this video, I want to show you why I didn't quit and why I believe that most people are giving up too easily on their dreams of entrepreneurship. Now, I did have this whole big production plan like I do with most of my other content, but for this video, I wanted to stay away from all of that polish and kind of level with you guys, be raw and stream of consciousness here if I can. First thing before we get started is a quick disclaimer. I am not advising recklessness. You are in your own situation. You need to make the determination on what's best for you. This is not advice. I am just letting you know what my experience has been and hoping that you guys can learn from it. That being said, why don't we start from the outside and go inwards? So starting all the way from the outside, the most outside thing is the economy, and the economy is uniquely bad at the moment, okay? Inflation has been rampant, grocery prices have skyrocketed, the cost of living is choking everyone, and the American dream is kind of dying out. Let me qualify that statement for a second. Do you happen to know how much the average American home costs? An average house in the United States today costs $440,000. Meanwhile, the median household income is about $82,000. Now, if you do some math, you realize that it would take the average American family about 14 years to save up for a down payment on the average American home. And by the way, I'm just going to give you guys the headline numbers. If you guys want to understand where these numbers are coming from and what the math is behind them, everything is showing up here on screen. You can pause the video and take a look at that if you want to. But it would take 14 years to save up for not a mansion, but a regular house. And that's if the housing prices stayed static, which they don't. They keep increasing. So you'd probably have to save even longer than that. And then let's say that you do achieve that. You save up a nice down payment. Well, now you're stuck with a mortgage for the next 30 years. And that mortgage is going to come out to, on average, for the average American house, $3,000 a month. And now you're responsible for your roof, your appliances, all of those things break over time. The average rule of thumb is going to be to save up 2% of your house's value on an annual basis. That means that your cost just to be inside your house is about $3,700 every single month. The numbers just don't make sense. So what that really means is that the average American family has been priced out of the average American home. Now, who can actually afford the average American home? Well, in order to afford it responsibly and comfortably, you'd have to be making at least $215,000 annually as a household, which not a lot of households are doing. Even if you do have an income that can actually handle that kind of a home, you're still just owning an average home. If you want to be above average, if you want to be financially free and successful, you should mimic what the wealthy do. Now, back in the day, the old advice was that you needed to save money, that saving money was the path to living responsibly, to owning a home one day, to being able to retire one day. And that was possible just a generation or two ago because houses were $100,000 and wages were like $40,000 a year. So the gap wasn't insurmountable. But that advice is old, and it just doesn't work anymore. It worked for the last generation. It doesn't work for ours. You need to understand that money is a game and that the winners of the game right now are playing offense and not defense. Okay, Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos, they didn't save their way to their fortunes. They didn't pinch pennies or depend on discounts because that wasn't going to address the underlying issue. Okay, they built businesses. They invested in appreciating assets because in order to gain financial freedom in today's day and age, you have to play offense. Now, quick disclaimer here. Defense is still very valuable. You have to be responsible, but defense will only get you survival. Okay? If you want to thrive, you're going to have to play offense. Offense means accruing an asset that appreciates faster than the cost of living or upping your income at a rate that beats inflation. The problem is that the salary at your job is very likely capped. You might get a modest raise on an annualized basis, but that formula simply isn't going to keep up with the cost of living nowadays, so it's going to lead to failure, not success. In reality, nowadays, you've only got three options. You either find a job where the income isn't capped and you take advantage of that, something where there's either profit sharing or commissions or something like that, or you start a side hustle that can multiply or supplement your income, or you just start a business so that you can multiply your income at a rate that's faster than the cost of living. And I can't stress this next part enough, that I am just a messenger here. That if you analyze what I've been saying and you analyze the world around you, you'll realize that I've been telling the truth, that the old guard is dead. You can't save your way to success any longer. And so we need to accept our economic reality. We need to stop hoping and praying that things are going to change, because it's been years at this point, and we need to start adapting to a brand new way, which is going to require us to play a new game than the one that we've been playing all along. Now let's go all the way inside to the personal. I am in the process of declaring bankruptcy. By definition, that means that I vastly miscalculated my risk in order to be in the position that I'm in. There's also a generalized mischaracterization of bankruptcy. Bankruptcy is actually a tool for the rich, but how I got here and the story behind bankruptcy in general, that's a story for a whole other video. Really, what I want to do is level with you, because I hope that you're not in as bad of a situation as I am. But I know that a lot of people watching this are in some type of a situation where they either feel like they're drowning in debt, or they're feeling squeezed by the bills, or they're feeling like they're living paycheck to paycheck. You want to talk about managing your risk? I got to rock bottom and I did the safest thing that I saw available to me at the time, which was that I started a business. Everyone around me told me that it was time to give up on that and it was time to go and get a job. But capping your salary right now doesn't seem like the right play. Businesses are viewed as risky, and in general they are, but it's the least risky option for a lot of us right now. Remember, the point of the money game is still the same. In order to win the game, you still have to be able to own a home and retire one day. And unless you're a really well-paid professional like doctor, lawyer, engineer, something like that, having a traditional job just isn't going to cut it anymore. Even if you're relatively well paid, keeping your income put where it is simply isn't safe anymore, because you may feel okay now, but the price of everything is catching up to you faster than you can run away from it at a traditional job. You may not feel the squeeze right now, but you will feel the squeeze eventually. I would say that this is an opportunity for all of us to start following our dreams again. You know, the dream that you've had of that business that you were going to start. Maybe you've tried to start 8 different times and you failed every single time. That doesn't mean that you don't try again on the 9th time. I say it's time to not quit, to go all in, and to really, really try to make owning a business work. I am living proof that the only thing stopping you is fear. Okay, a lot of people complain that they don't have the money to start a business. I am literally bankrupt and I was able to start a business. It's a lot harder to start without capital, but it is still possible. Some people say that they can't start a business because of their situation, but your situation isn't going to change until you do something about it. What's the definition of insanity after all? If you feel like you're not where you're supposed to be financially, then you're probably in a pretty advantageous situation. Remember, when Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos want to start a new venture, they have a ton to lose. They could lose their companies, they could lose billions of dollars, they could lose their properties. I mean, they just have everything to lose. But us normal people, what do we really have to lose? We actually have unlimited shots on goal without losing much of anything if you're not already a millionaire. So what exactly is it that we're scared of? I think we need to start taking some more risks here as a society. I know this video is very different than the other ones, but if you did watch it all the way through, I'd really appreciate a like. And if you want more content like this, I'd appreciate a subscribe. And guys, if you have anything to say about this topic, I would love to see it down in the comments below. Anyways, I will catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.